Hi everyone, welcome back to Amber the Baker. Today we are doing something that is honestly my favorite thing ever. We are in the holiday season, so let's do some holiday style baking. My favorite thing in the world is pumpkin roll. We're doing a pumpkin roll today. Now, I can only make these in November and December because if I make them in any other month, I'm going to make them every month. Pumpkin is one of my favorite things in the world, with or without sugar in it. So pumpkin plus cream cheese is an all-time winner in my book. So we are gonna make pumpkin rolls. Wrote my recipe down in advance. Now this is the first time I'm making my recipe. I've been crafting this for a few weeks now, and I think I found the right formula. So we are going to try my recipe at home for the first time today. All right. So I'm going to move my little book out of the way. And we're going to get rearing to go here. Everybody, if you are baking along, which I highly encourage you to do, please. This is a holiday season, and if I can't be at your table, it would be really cool if one of my desserts or rolls or anything could be. We're going to be doing a lot of holiday baking tutorials here coming up. I'm going to be doing my homemade pie crust. I crafted my own recipe for rolls the other day that I tried out. My husband absolutely adored them. He said I had to film it, so I'll be refilming my rolls, which we are repurposing tonight to have sliders. So, you know, the stuff I do is simple enough to where you could do it if you're hosting, or if you're not hosting, you can be that cool person who brings stuff so that the person who's doing the primary amount of cooking can take a second, They don't have to do everything. Rolls, super easy. Pies, oh my god, we're gonna be doing some pies later this month too. Super easy. Okay? All right. But for our pumpkin rolls today, and to satisfy the dessert monster and me, we're going to start by putting our ovens at 350. All right. Start with our oven at 350, and we're going to get started. So, our ingredients: 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. We're going to be using both. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So that's going to be your dry ingredients. For our wet ingredients, we're going to need 3 large eggs at room temperature, 2/3 cup of pumpkin puree straight out of the can. You don't have to drain it, because the pumpkin puree, all the moisture in here is actually what's going to keep our pumpkin cake moist. So do not take any of the moisture out of this bad boy. 1/2 cup of light or dark brown sugar, depending on your preference. 1/2 cup of regular sugar, and the behemoth. The reason I live and breathe. It's vanilla bean paste, baby. This is not vanilla extract. Please do not get that twisted. Vanilla extract just uses the vanilla flavoring, while vanilla bean paste uses the whole vanilla. The whole thing. So you'll see little brown specks in your baked goods, like if you would have a French vanilla ice cream, because they use the full bean. It's basically like that. So this is extra concentrated and it tastes good, and you can eat it right out of here and not retch. I don't know a good word for it. It's delicious. It's the MSG of desserts. It's vanilla bean paste, baby. Get this. It's cheap. It's not as expensive as people think, and it will change the flavor of your baked goods. I stand by this. This is a mountain, a hill I will die on. Vanilla bean paste. Okay, now that I aggressively shoved that product in your face, buy it. Any kind, it's fine. And then 3/4 cup of powdered sugar for rolling. And then if you want to get your ingredients out now for your frosting, that would be cool because you need your cream cheese at room temp. So you can pull out 6 ounces of cream cheese. I just use the whole block. I use the 8. I don't like my stuff as sweet because the cake is sweet. So I just use the full 8 to counteract some of the sweetness. So block of Philly, buy in bulk at Costco. 1/4 cup unsalted butter, room temperature. So bring that out to sit now. 1.5 cups of powdered sugar and vanilla bean paste. If you don't have it, use extract, but get it. So those are all of the ingredients. You can pause here and rewind and dig all those out, whatever you got to do. But I'm going to go ahead and get this puppy started. Okay. Get that out of my face. We are going to start. I'm going to read the measurements out as I go too, again, in case you need them. 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour over a bowl into your sifter. Y'all know I live and breathe by the sifter because I don't like any chunky flour bits in my baked goods. I like things to be smooth and pretty and uniform. Okay. I'm so happy I finally had time to film because I've been like baking like a little monster recently, but like filming is a whole ordeal, right? And the ones I film are the ones that I have been really hammering into off camera, right? Like the buns that I made in my bread box currently. Those have taken a little while to cultivate because it's fun to like bring something to the table and be like, hey, this is like mine. Like I made this, I did this. I wrote it, I did it all. If all my dreams come true, it'll be in a book on a shelf in Barnes & Noble one day, but you know, one day at a time. But that's why we're doing this here. I wanted to try the recipe that I created with you guys as like a special moment of I baked my favorite sweet little treat, my version, with you guys. Okay. All right. So we have our 3/4 cup of flour. So now I'm going to move on to teaspoon baking powder. Baking powder. Teaspoon baking powder. That way. And then, what did I say? 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. This is a 1/4. I don't know what he did with my 1/2. Again, keep your baking soda in a container, airtight. Way less annoying than that stupid box. This is what, 1/4? Oh, this is 1/2. That's a 1/4. I can't read. 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. I'm going to put it away. Wow. That's short arms. Okay. And then, okay. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I like to go heavy on cinnamon in a lot of my stuff. You don't have to. The cinnamon portion and the pumpkin pie spice portion, those are going to be optional based off your taste preferences, or your family's taste preferences, or you know, whatever you're doing there. But I like to go a little cinnamon heavy. I do enjoy it, especially in baked goods. And I'm not the biggest pumpkin pie spice person. I'm not the biggest clove fan, or nutmeg is good in like small portions, but you know, I'm not that crazy. So my recipe only calls for 1/2 teaspoon of that. So, but you can go up to 1. I would not go over 1, please don't. And I wouldn't go over 2 on your cinnamon. And I wouldn't go under 1.5 teaspoons on your cinnamon. So make sure you're you're doing that to your taste, but you are doing it with the pumpkin cake in mind. So pumpkin is always at the forefront of our minds after October, early. If you're me, anyways. Okay. And our salt. I was like, I'm missing something. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Contrast some of that sweetness in here. Yep, that's I put a little. There we go. There we go. All right. Put that back because we don't need it anymore. One thing about baking is like your counters get just incredibly crowded, and it makes me so upsetty spaghetti. So I always have to put things up as I go. Give these a little whisk. Get it all incorporated so that all of our cake has a little bit of everything we put in here. I've seen people not mix. They just chuck it into their wet ingredients and pray. And that's how you see like soggy cakes or like peaks and valleys in your cakes, right? It's because you didn't take the time to make sure every bit had baking powder and baking soda. So you end up with like a cratery cake. And that's how we're doing. All right, that's your dry ingredients. That easy, that quick. Side by side. We're gonna move on to our wet ingredients. Boom. All right. I'm gonna use my whisk attachment because I want to make it all smooth and creamy. Because this isn't like a dough, it's like a cake, so you want everything to be incorporated like I was saying earlier. So, all right. We are gonna pop our little eggies in. Okay. Those guys in. I shelled it. Very good. I haven't done that in a while. Of course it had to be on camera. That's funny. Okay. Boop. I get me some caffeine. I'm feeling a little bit low energy today. We've had a really nice rainstorm over the past couple days, and it's very calming. But I want to make sure you guys know that I'm here with you and happy. So I'm going to try and pep it up a little bit. All right, so we got our 3 eggs in there. I'm going to start by breaking those up with our whisk attachment. I'm just going to break them up. The reason like a lot of recipes say add 1 egg at a time or like start by whisking your eggs is because like every once in a while, it's very rare, but every once in a while an egg yolk will not break. And you will have whatever dessert you're having with a poached egg in it somewhere. And that's a good bite, right? Oh, vile. So that's why it always says make sure your egg yolks are broken or add 1 egg at a time until you see it's completely incorporated. That's the reason B for that. I'm going to crank this, get them a little bit of air in them. All right, once it looks like a scrambled egg, you can stop and keep going. We are going to then add in our pumpkin, the star of the show. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I don't know how anybody can not like this. I don't understand it through every last fiber of my being, and it's just one of those things I stand on business with. Now, there we go. Get all of that out of there. That in there. Okay. I'll use that again. Yeah, I will use this. That there. All right, sugars. Okay. And then you're going to add your 1/2 cup of brown sugar, light or dark. The only difference really is one has more like molasses in it, so it tastes a little bit more rich. That's your difference. 1/2 cup of light brown sugar. paper. All right. This way. It's time for the star of the show. Vanilla bean paste. 1 teaspoon of vanilla bean paste. Well, I'll let you guys like watch it like that way probably. Boop. It's about a teaspoon. See, it's thick, it's pasty, hence the name. It's absolutely wonderful. My pride and joy. Oh, it smells so good. My whole house smells like vanilla now. Whole area. All right, we are going to cream this bad boy up. All those eggs in that. Eggs. I'm going to continuously scrape my sides while I'm doing this. Always scrape the sides of your bowl. You always want to make sure. And then you always want to check the very bottom of your mixer too, just in case something's chilling there. And I'm going to pop this up to a 6 on my KitchenAid just to get it all blended. It's going to be very wet. It's going to be very wet. You can hear it like sloshing. Yeah, it's going to be wet. But I also want a little bit of air incorporated in that because I want to keep it nice and floofy. Okay. Yep, that's good. If I can. There we go. So now you guys can kind of, like, that's what you're supposed to see. That's what you're looking at. And then you're going to pop in all of your dry ingredients at once. You don't have to do it in batches. Get it all in there. Don't have to do it all in batches. Low, low, low. Low. All right. See how nobody got flour face there? Low. And then once you see it thickening like that, you see it start to get thick, 4. Okay, then we're gonna let it mix. I'm gonna stop it here because you can even see it at this angle. You scrape the sides, got flour all up in there. Yeah. Scrape those sides. And then I just rub it off on the beater so that it gets back in. Then back up to a 4. You can do that immediately. We want to do this until it's just combined. I don't want any insane gluten bindings building because if the gluten bindings are too strong, you're not going to be able to roll your cake into a log and it's going to crack on every single roll. And they're kind of a pain to not crack anyways. Mine will probably have 1 or 2. Okay, good. All right. That is fully mixed. So I can pull this up, kind of show you. Now it's kind of cakey because it's more like dripping, right? It's not going to be a super dense cake, which is, we don't want it to be super dense because cream cheese frosting is already dense enough on its own. I'm going to rinse this off. We are going to knead it again. Not clear. Very good. Let it dry. I always wash things immediately if I'm going to need them again. Guys, hold on. Time out. Time out. I gotta show you this. Our grandma Sharon gave us her Christmas village, and it came with a bakery. And my husband said I could put it in the kitchen. So that's how this is our little bakery village. Okay, that is all. I'm 30 now, and I like Christmas villages. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that happens when you're 30, Because before that, you just see it cluttering your mom's house, and you're like, I have to help her unbox all of these. I have to help her box them back up and put them away. And ooh. But now I'm just like, hey guys, that's my Christmas Village bakery. It's so cute. Duh. My alarm is going off. Okay. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about Christmas villages and being old. All right. I always say silicone baking mats. Not for this. Not for sheet cakes. Not for sheet cakes. And I'll tell you why. Because for sheet cakes, you need a silicone baking mat that covers corner to corner. Mine doesn't. So you can see how here it has like corner adjacent, like it kind of cuts it off there. No. In order to get these cakes out of where you pour them into, you need full coverage. So I sprayed my pan with just cooking spray and then put my parchment on. That bad baby ain't going nowhere. That's what you want. And I put it all up the sides, right? But not over the lip. Because you don't want that kitchen fire. So you don't want too much hanging off the sides. But this is only going in for 17 to 18 minutes. So it's not going to. Kitchen safety. Don't burn your house down. Transfer. And here's where I'm also scraping the bottom, making sure that all got incorporated in, and it did. It did. It's rare it doesn't because it's more of like thick things, like more doughs and things, stuff gets stuck there. But honestly, however thick you want it, I use a large baking sheet because I like the cake a little slightly thinner because it's easier to manipulate. But we are just gonna chuck all this on here best we can. I'm like quieter and like really locked in on this because it's just my favorite thing. And I always like to make sure it's perfect to the best of my ability. Because like I said earlier, it still cracks. And that's so infuriating. But one day at a time, we all have our flaws. All right, we are going to just smooth this bad boy out. Take your time here. You want it to be fully on here. You want it to be fully flattened, right? You like a consistent layer. Because you don't want one side of your cake to be thick and one side thin. We don't play games with that. So we want to just first off form the shape, right? Get into those corners. That's important. Okay. Now we can focus on evening out our cake batter so that we don't have any holes or peaks or valleys or anything. Okay. And just do the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be an OCD nightmare. It's supposed to be fun, lighthearted. All the cake's inside the parchment, which means we did that properly. So that's positive. I've got it pretty much evenly distributed in a manner that I'm happy with. There's not going to be a thickness or a thinness. The whole cake is just going to be the same. The same. All right. That looks nice. I'm going to let that just kind of sit for a second. That settle into itself. Okay. A little bit of the shake, a little bit of the tap. Don't want any crazy air in there. And that's it. That's your pumpkin cake batter. Yay. This is going to be all rolled up beautiful. I'm going to eat way too much of it. Quite frankly, so is my husband. I'm so excited. All right, I'm going to pop this sucker in. Did you see what I just did? Oh my gosh. I just ruined my day. Oh no. And I'm not gonna lick this off my fingers because it has raw eggs in it. Take that seriously, guys. Take that seriously. Raw eggs is no joke. Okay, let's cover up our little boo-boo. I switched to a front-facing camera today so I could see more of what you guys see. So I was looking at you and not what I was doing. So that was a mistake. All right, there we go. That'll be good enough. All right, so we're gonna pop this in the oven for 17 to 18 minutes. Always start with your lower option. She's got that 17 minutes, and then we will check it. Your cake is done when you can poke it and it springs back. Now, we are going to prepare our next steps. So get yourself a nice clean tea towel. I'm going to rip the tag off, please. Okay, we're going to lay that out, and we're going to go ahead and prepare our cake for transfer. I'm going to do this on the counter. I'm not going to do this on a wire rack. I'm just not. It's going to mess everything up. Do not do it on a wired rack. Do it on a counter. Do it on a table. Do it on a flat surface. Do not do it heightened. No. You're going to grab your powdered sugar. Okay. Now 3/4 of a cup, I would say, will be more than sufficient. Over here. This is a half. So we'll start with that. Okay. And you're literally... Amber, oh no, you got it on the tea towel. Great. That's where it's going. Because we're literally rolling our cake up in this. So you need to have this ready by the time your cake is done. Your cake is not going to sit. Your cake is not going to rest. Your cake is going directly on 3/4 cup of powdered sugar on a tea towel. Okay, that's what we're doing today. This helps it not stick to the tea towel, as well as this is not the sweetest cake. It's more of a savory cake, so it'll give it a little bit more of that flavor of sweetness. And that's what it should look like. Like that. I got some on my counter, but that's literally no biggie. That's my entire existence. I will be cleaning the kitchen after this, and my husband will be absolutely delighted when he comes to cook dinner. I'll have a nice sparkly kitchen. Okay. So now we're just gonna kind of just wait on that cake. I mean, you can kind of start your filling if you want, but I want my stuff to be soft a little bit more. Yes, it could work. But we don't want to start our filling for a while. Do not do any of that while your cake is baking, because it's going to have to completely cool, and it's cooling in a tucked up spiral. So that's going to take a while. So that's why we want to make sure that we wait and everything's okay. Check our cake. I'm going to poke it. Again, it should just snap back. Oh, I can tell that it's done right away, but I will poke it. Yeah, that's perfect, actually. Oh, it smells delicious. Turn my oven off. It's hot as balls. I shouldn't say that. Alexa, please stop. I should not say hot as balls on the internet, but here I am. I'm going to grab my second mitt. Add on. And we're just, boom, right on. Just like that. This is going to be hot, okay? So when you peel this parchment, please understand that you will, you can seriously burn yourself, but the parchment's got to go now. Frick. No. There we go. There we go. Find the spot that wants to peel. Don't make a spot peel. Oh yeah, that's... Hot, hot, hot. There we go. Look at that. And you see all those moist air bubbles in there. Oh, frick. Okay. I think I put too much parchment in up the sides. A little too much. There you go. Sometimes your cake will break a little bit. That's okay because you can like fix it with a little, with some nerves of steel. Yeah, the parchment was just too high. That's a first. I haven't done that before. So let me just loosen side parchments. There we go. Whew. Do the same here. Loosen the side parchments. It's so hot. All right. There we go. So loosen the sides of your parchments and then peel it back. That's what we learned today. And that's what you learned on Amber the Baker. Okay. So now we are simply just going to roll this bad boy up. Here we go. You want to do this slowly, gently, but make sure that it is tight. As tight as you can. Your towel is going to get hot. Okay? Just take it nice and slow. Don't put too much pressure. Just gently guide it. Guide, 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 guide. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And then I'm going to finish rolling it into the tea towel. Trap everything in there. It's gorgeous. Okay. Now, cooling this. You can leave it on your counter if you'd like. Or you can put it in the fridge, or you can put it in the freezer. Last year for the Christmas party, I had to put it in the freezer because I was running behind. But I don't have a time limit today, so I'm going to pop it in the fridge for about 2 hours. And that is why you don't want to make your filling too early. Because otherwise your filling will just sit and get a film on it. So that is steaming in my fridge. It's so hot. Okay, and then I will catch you guys back here in a couple of hours. And we will make our filling and we'll frost this guy and yum! Okay, see you in a minute. Okay. Feels cool. Let's see. Make my counter a mess again, and I just cleaned it. Yay. Slowly unroll it. It's going to kind of feel like you're peeling Velcro. That's okay. Nice and gentle, like you can see. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, it's very moist. That's a good sign. Same way we rolled it, we're going to unroll it, except for don't apply pressure. Just ease it along. Nice and sweet like. Beautiful. All right. Let's make us a frosting now because she is ready to go. So I'm just going to push her up. Nice and cool. Bring in our stand mixer. Block of cream cheese. Bada bing, bada boom. 6 ounces if you're following my exact recipe. 8 ounces if you're really, honestly, you just don't want a random 2 ounces of cream cheese in your fridge. And you like things not on the sweeter side of the spectrum, I would say. All right. No. I want my whisk. Okay. I'm just going to whisk some air into that cream cheese here. Get nice and fluffy. You can see it already starts to fluff and stick to the side. That's good. That means you waited long enough for it to soften properly. There we go. That's what you're aiming for. Don't do this with your mixer, please. Okay. Scrape it and go again, because I want this to be nice and light and fluffy. I want lots of air to get into it, get it nice and whipped. Okay. About a 6 on my stand mixer. Okay. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and drop in my butter. Come on, butter, butter. Okay. My butter's nice and soft too. I've left that out for a minute. And now you're just going to run those at about a 4 to a 6.
So here's where we see my audio cut out. That's fun. I think that maybe my microphone died or something and it didn't notify me. So we are just mixing our cream cheese in the bowl. Making sure it's nice and fluffy, making sure that butter incorporates so it gets more of like a frosting-like texture and kind of loses a little bit of its cream cheese texture. Vanilla bean burst. Pop a good teaspoon of that in there, or a dollop if you're using vanilla bean paste. If you're using extract, go ahead and hit that with a teaspoon. Gonna let that incorporate. Now we want to go ahead and get our powdered sugar ready so that this guy can get sweetened up a little bit. Okay. Take your mixer and turn it off before this, unless you want a powdered sugar tornado to pop out of that thing and hit you right in the face. And get it all in there. You can do it in batches if you want, or you can just let your mixer do all the work and just put all the powdered sugar in at once. Story of my life. That's funny. Switches to safer method, cleaner method. Beautiful. Low and slow, baby. Once that powdered sugar starts mixing its way into the mixture, then you'll be able to turn it up, but initially you do not want. Cleaning up my little mess. You do not want it on high there. So keep it low and slow. Here we can go ahead and turn it off entirely to scrape the sides. Get all that powdered sugar in that mixture. Want to make sure everything gets fully incorporated so that it's sweet as sugar. Okay, and then we're going to crank it high. Put your mixture on high or like a 7, 8 maybe. Just kind of depending on what you're using. But this is when you want to incorporate more of that air so that it keeps its texture. So you want to crank that up to get some more air in there. And then it goes all the way up to a 10 there. And you can see the beater starting to make lines within the frosting. That means you're almost there. Because it's starting to get that thickness, then that powdered sugar is fully incorporating into that cream cheese frosting. If you don't like cream cheese, it's fine. You can do a buttercream or a whipped cream or any kind of frosting or filling in here. You can also do the different flavors. I like the classic vanilla cream cheese in there, so that's why I keep this one, but couldn't help myself. Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. This one I didn't really need to reference my personal recipe a lot because I've made this so much, cream cheese frosting in general, that it is locked into my brain cells. So once that's ready, you're going to go ahead and move your mixer or get an open space so that you can work with that cake, because that's when we're going to bring the cake back into center stage here. Okay, and simply start loading that on into whatever thickness or thinness layer that you would like. Mine is kind of like a middle ground. It's not thin, it's not thick, but again, your filling amount is going to be to your preference. She's a very versatile cake, very versatile roll, and this goes with all rolls in general. They're incredibly customizable to the flavors you use, to the amounts of things that you put in. So once we get our frosting on, we're going to want to spread it out evenly. You're going to want to leave about a 1/2 inch border around, because when you roll it up, your frosting could displace itself if you've put, a good layer in it. So giving yourself 1/2 inch on each side just makes it to where it's not going to overflow out the side of your roll. Oh, delicious. Now I am just making sure that it's all even here so that there's not like a massive chunk here of frosting or none here and it's just, a bite of cake. Just want to make sure everything's evenly distributed, just like you did with your cake batter into the pan. I'm using an actual like frosting utensil here, so this one is a bit easier. And we've used all of it. Every last bit that I could dig out of there, I dug out of there. Filled it in nicely. Now I'm really sad that my microphone broke because you guys, I got so excited when we rolled this up. So excited. And you're definitely going to see the excitement just because it's so beautiful. And it was done probably about 5 seconds ago, but this is just me wanting to make sure everything is going perfectly and swimmingly. Angle it for the easiest way to roll, because this is where we're going to roll this guy right back up. And I'm going to do this so gently. So gently. Don't try to force it because it will rip because you have a filling in it this time. Keep going, keep going, keep going. All the way through till the end. And I have to tell you, this is where I get excited because it did not crack. This is the first time I've ever made a pumpkin roll with my own recipe from scratch that did not crack. And I was just so in shock and I was so excited because it's the first pumpkin roll that didn't crack and it was from my own recipe. So I felt a nice sense of pride and accomplishment here. Just one of those things. That's one of the things I've been working on in baking in general, is taking things from tasting delicious to tasting delicious and looking delicious. So this helped me accomplish that. I didn't have like a serving tray for this, so I chucked it on a plate. Don't judge me. Look at that. You can see it all spiraled. I didn't dust it with powdered sugar because it's dusted enough there. We didn't need to add insult to injury on the sweet wagon. So here, you're going to handle it gently. You're going to want to handle it so gently. But look in the end there. You see how it's like open? That is not what we want. So, yes, enjoy your cake. You can see the rolls, and here's where I'm discussing how we need to trim those, right? Because that's not cute. That's not cute. But you can see the spiral. You can see how you can handle it with care. You can see how you have the spiral. Cake's good. It's good cake. I'm good at cake. Especially sheet cake. It is so good. So here's where I'm going to go ahead and trim the sides off this bad boy. Those are for the chef, so you get to eat those. Naturally. I need to get a serving plate. Okay, making sure that it was a nice smooth cut so that it looks cute. And there you have it. There is your pumpkin roll. Yay! Now, the spiral showed even more when we cut off another piece. So when you cut into that, it will give you more of that cute little spiral look. And then you can keep this in the fridge. You want to keep it in the fridge for at least 20 minutes so that that cake can absorb some of that yummy little cream cheese mixture, just to make sure the flavors marinate a bit more. And it will help solidify your shape, bringing that cream cheese back to cold so that that cream cheese holds that spiral. But here's where I just want to say thanks so much for tuning in and doing my very own pumpkin roll recipe with me. And I hope this hits your holiday table or your holiday season, because it is a winner every time. It's heavy though. I don't know why I was holding it like that for so long. That thing has some weight to it. Happy baking.